Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Gord, you're hurting hippie. How y'all doing? How ya all doing? Friends, happy Tuesday. I hope this finds you well. You've seen the title, you've seen the pictures. You're a step ahead of me. I haven't made the title or the thumbnails yet. I haven't decided yet. So, pitter patter. Let's get at her. Yeah, let's get on the hippie bus and let's start thinking about things. Friends, it is a themed video today. It starts from being inside my own head. Thus, the one picture that I probably will make the thumbnail is in being inside your own head, trying to find the one article that you need. That's me. That's me this week. I have so many things coming at me from every single corner that I'm having such a hard time focusing. And I want to share it all with you. I do know why. First of all, it is the beginning of the year. Many, many things happen. And we have to start laying out our year in front of us, and those of us that are a little bit obsessive, compulsive, whatever you want to call it, have a difficult time with that. There is also my young boy, Pasha. This is the 1 year anniversary of him being, I hate calling it an anniversary because an anniversary sounds like something you celebrate, but I want him to start seeing it as something we celebrate, because that day, although he got hit by a car that day he learned about traffic safety and looking both ways. So many kids just don't. He did not get hurt except mentally. Yes, he has. Can kids get PTSD? Damn right. Will it stay? Maybe not, if we work it right. So I want him to celebrate that he is better now than he was before that accident. He is smarter, he is more careful, he is more concerned, and he's more mature. Yesterday wasn't just him needing me to walk him to school. He ended up, his teacher said, he was inside his head all day. He would get lost looking at a ruler or his own hand. He just wasn't focused. And yes, I got an email from his teacher saying that, but long before I got the email from his teacher, I had Pasha telling me that. Pasha's the most honest boy I know. And he told me, he says, Dad, I've got homework, nobody else has it, because I couldn't get it done in school today. I just wasn't paying attention. And I just wasn't in my head. I was worried about this week. I was worried about last year. I was just, my brain wasn't connecting. So be it. So be it. You gotta take it and take the information and not panic about it and just find solution. So I had good long talks with Pasha last night. We talked about how he could use it as a celebration of life, a celebration of learning, and how he does have to move past it anyway. So this morning, I was pretty concerned. Instead of waking up at 7 and taking my time, I got up and got ready just in case he needed me. But he's in school now. He walked himself to school. He is okay. I'm hoping, I'm hoping that he can focus all day and he can find that focus and he can start moving forward again. It was the first time we ever had a negative report from his teacher, but it wasn't put in a negative context. What a great teacher he has. So there was that. There's also, I have more than one of you, Jonathan, more than one of you asking me to talk about Iran. And I will. But I think I'm going to give it another day, maybe two. Because first of all, I get hammered whenever I talk politics, and it becomes very difficult to live with. I worry. I'm a person who doesn't like conflict. And if there's conflict between me and you, or proposed conflict or perceived conflict, it's even harder to work out because it's only by text, only by textual conversation. And through that, there can be so many mistakes. That's, I think, why the world is inside their own heads, because nobody picks up the phone anymore and says, hey, what did you mean by that? Oh, really? I thought, see? Perception is reality to those who perceive it, and today we perceive things from such small amounts of input that we're making a reality that feels real, and it's not ours, and it's not real. It is ours, but it's here. It's not there. I gotta stop, because shadows don't work well with this studio. So I was inside my head about that too, trying to figure out, when do I propose that to all of you? Or should it just be, I know then, Jonathan, you wouldn't get it, but that really, the really difficult talks are all in my Patreon account. You can always get the link up here. It's always there, to the Patreon account, and that's where I talk very in-depthly about most of these subjects. But sometimes you all need to hear it too, even if you disagree with me. That's the thing about opinions. We all have them, and I won't get into that. The other thing I want to bring up was I wanted to use Joe Rogan as an example of how butthurt this world is. I won't use a right-left vernacular, because you know what? Everything here is happening on the left of center, because Joe Rogan is a liberal. Joe Rogan is very much a follower and maybe even liker of Bernie. He believes in most of socialism. He likes this universal income, things that I totally disagree with. But I like Joe because he'll listen to everything. But he expresses himself somewhat like I am mostly on the right, but very often in certain areas I fall on the left. He is very much on the left, but in certain areas, gun control, hunting, freedom of speech, he's very much on the right. And that's where the rub lies, because I keep telling people we are neither right nor left. It depends on the subject. Then we can whittle down to find out where does our opinion fit on the spectrum. But we can't just fit ourselves generally on the spectrum, because as I've said to all of you, when I make general statements, generality is good for getting an expression forward, but it never applies to an individual, ever, even though some people might think it does. So what's this Joe Rogan thing? Well, Joe Rogan decided. Joe Rogan is where I learned intermittent fasting, and thanks to intermittent fasting, I lost 15 pounds. I'm healthier and better than I've ever been, and hopefully will live longer. Joe Rogan doesn't follow intermittent fasting. It's where I learned that. Joe Rogan is more keto. He's more meat and veg. And January is carnivore month, so he announced that he was going to, Joe Rogan promotes World Carnivore Month amid Veganuary's roaring success. So already in the title, you can tell this was written by somebody on the left, because Joe's in trouble, because he decided to do his carnivore month when vegans have a month. And how dare he interrupt that? And the story, I mean, I'll hook it below, but my friends, it plays out in, you can tell that people aren't thinking when you read this out. The comedian has announced he'll only be eating meat and eggs in January, while record breaking 350,000 people. That's a pretty small amount of the 350 million. That's 1% of the Americans. 1% have made the months long pledge to go plant based. How does Joe Rogan saying, I'm going to eat only meat, have any negative impact on vegans and their veganuary month? People can have, I can celebrate a certain religion while my neighbor is a certain other religion, and neither of us hurt each other. That's probably a bad one, but they're mad at him. They're mad at him for promoting something he believes in, because it hurts the vegans. The vegans are trying to do something here. How dare you promote something that's opposite? They even use the fact that Joe Rogan, back up that bus. Joe Rogan had a, I want to get to the right, the controversy. Yeah, Joe Rogan had on his podcast the Game Changers. At first, they did a review of the Game Changers, which is a vegan promoting documentary that somewhat bashed meat eaters and non-vegans. And so at first Joe Rogan had a podcast that bashed that. Then he brought the person who bashed it and the person who made the documentary into a podcast, and they discussed it all out. And at the end of it, Joe Rogan said the guy who made the Game Changers documentary was very factually correct in almost every area of his broadcast, of his documentary, and that the other guy was not as scientifically correct. So what I got, and I watched it all, what I got was at the end of it, Joe Rogan said, you know what, you have proved to me that vegans, if they work hard at it, can live as healthy a lifestyle as eating healthy with some meat. Joe Rogan didn't say, you've changed my mind, meat, schmeat. No, he didn't say that. But they're saying the announcement of his meat thing met with controversy, with many pointing out how Rogan branded James Wilkes, the producer of The Game Changers, fantastic after he refuted the film's critics. Of course he said he was fantastic. He didn't say, I now buy into everything you ever said. Joe Rogan's a meat eater. There's nothing wrong with being a meat eater, and there's nothing wrong with me celebrating my long hair, and you have short hair. You shouldn't feel, oh my God, he's putting down short hair. No, no. I'm putting up long. I'm saying nothing about short. It's a long talk to try and say, why can't we worry about, the only time we should be worried about our neighbor's basket is when it's empty. Help your neighbor. But if your neighbor's basket is full, leave your neighbor alone. Unless you're best friends, go over there, have a toke, But we got to stop insisting that other people are wrong just because we think we're right. If we think we're right, good for us. We should be living a life that we feel is correct and prosperous. But that doesn't mean we are right. We're right for us, or we're right for now, or we're right for us right now. But we're not right for everybody else. The word right has gotten wrong over the time, because we don't need to be right. We just need to do what's correct for us and let others do what's correct for them. We can educate. We can say, this is, I wish more people would do what I do on this channel. I say, this is what I do. I don't encourage you to do it. I don't discourage you from doing it. I'm just giving you information, and I hope you will take this information, research further on one side and the other, and come up with your own opinion. And when you have that opinion, if it differs from me, let's talk. You might change my mind. You might not. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Friends? Yes, it's time for little known facts. I have to go through some of these, and I have to read them ahead of time because some of them are really good and some of them are absolutely ridiculous. So I won't read the ridiculous ones to you, but the first one is catnip is 10 times more effective at repelling mosquitoes than DEET. I had no idea. Why isn't catnip being bottled up so that we can put it all over ourselves? Or will we then get rid of the mosquitoes but leave a trail of cats? Okay, and in 2002, more people in the United States were killed by dogs than have been killed by sharks in the last 100 years. It's just perception. We perceive sharks to be the horrible animal that we think they are, and maybe, I guess, if all of us went for our walks in the ocean, maybe sharks would get a few more bites. Justin Bieber once held up a sign from his hotel room window saying, "Go to McDonald's and get me a Big Mac." He got his Big Mac. The power of celebrity, eh? The power of celebrity. Friends, that's it for today. I do hope you've enjoyed that. Join me in wishing Pasha the best in recovering from this, and let me know what you think. Should I do something on Iraq? Are you going to beat the hell out of me? Are you going to let me have an opinion? Friends, peace and cheers, love and harmony. Catch you on the other side.